All right, let me share something interesting. When I started scaling my first service business, I was barely making 2 grand a month, and honestly, I was completely broke. Today, I own multiple online companies alongside a coaching program, and one of my recent clients just went from 0 to 30 grand a month in just 90 days. If you're new here, my name is Jay Adams, and I've spent the last 25 years building and scaling service based businesses. I've been featured in 2 of my own TV series, built and scaled 14 barbershops, and helped dozens of business owners transform their operations from working in their business to working on it. But here's what's incredible: the owners who succeeded weren't always the ones with the most money to start off with. They were actually the ones who just understood something crucial about business growth. Look, I get it. When you're working 50 plus hours a week in your business, barely clearing enough money to pay the bills, the idea of investing thousands inside of the business sounds crazy. You're probably thinking, Jay, I can barely pay my rent right now. How am I supposed to invest in anything else? I hear this every single day from business owners across multiple industries. And honestly, I used to think exactly the same way when I was stuck behind a chair in my barbershop. But here's the reality that nobody talks about. The more you focus on saving money and cutting the costs, the deeper you dig yourself into the owner trapped cycle. I learned this the hard way in the barber industry, and I watched countless talented business owners make the same expensive mistakes every single day. Whether you run a barbershop, salon, consultancy, or any other service business, thinking you're being smart by not investing is actually costing you more money every single week. And I'm going to show you exactly how. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down 3 things. First, I'll show you the exact mathematics of why most business owners stay broke, and it's actually not the reason that you think. Second, I'll reveal the investment strategy that helped one of my clients go from 0 to hiring 6 full-time members in his team in just 90 days. And third and finally, I'll give you a framework for evaluating any business investment so you never make a bad financial decision again. And all I need is 10 minutes of your time. Everything I'm about to share comes from real experience, not theory. I'm not a fucking online guru. I'm generally here to provide value to those who need it. I've used these exact principles to build my own businesses, starting with barbershops, and I've helped countless other owners implement them too. Just last month, one of my clients used this framework to go from making 5K a month to over 20K while actually spending less time working in their business. Now, if you're happy just being a self-employed worker in your business forever, this video probably isn't for you. But if you're serious about building a real business that makes money, whether you're there or not, pay close attention to what I'm about to share. Let me show you something that shocked every single business owner I've ever worked with. We're going to break down the real numbers of staying safe, and I warn you, these might be uncomfortable to hear. Let's look at the typical numbers for a business owner who's stuck working in their business rather than on it. I'm going to use real figures from conversations I have every single day with barbershop owners. The average barbershop day looks something like this. Around 10 to 15 clients at £25 each have been cut, and that's in a 10 to 12 hour operation day. Now, £250 is the revenue coming in daily, there or thereabouts, which means the monthly breakdown accumulates to around 22 working days in the month. So £250 on average times 22 is £5,500 a month. Let's take away the rent, minus the supplies and materials, minus any basic marketing, minus utilities and miscellaneous items. And then you're left with about 2.5 to 3K for personal income. And by the way, that's if everything goes perfectly. But here's what most people don't calculate: the hidden costs of staying small. So number one, there's a time cost, right? That's the first thing. You're probably working about 50 to 60 hours per week delivering your services. So that means there's no time to work on the business. You're just working inside of it. If you're like me back in the day, you probably miss a lot of family events and life moments. I know I never really had time to go out and spend time with my kids and go to watch Christmas plays and sports events just because I was busy working all the time. And then obviously as well, physically and mentally, the toll on your body and mindset is absolutely horrible too. Opportunity costs: while you're working in the business, you can't network and grow and scale, and every hour you spend working in the business is an hour you're not spending growing it. There are no systems being built, no teams being developed, and there's probably no marketing being improved because you're so busy. The future costs are just incredibly disgusting. And there's probably no retirement plan being built, and there's no business equity being created. What happens if you want to exit the company later on? If you remove yourself from the business becomes invaluable. Obviously, there's no assets that can be sold later on down the line too. But here's the brutal truth. If you're making 3 to 5K a month and spending most of it on living expenses, it would take you years to save enough money to really invest in your business. And during those years, you're actually going to get more burnt out, miss a shit ton of opportunities, and you're going to fall further behind than your competitors who are working on their business and not just inside of it. You're going to be watching your dreams of a real business slip away. And this is why saving to invest later is actually the riskiest strategy you could choose when scaling your business, whether you're running a barbershop like I did or any other service-based business out there. Now, let me share something that absolutely changed everything for me. When I was stuck in this exact same position, cutting hair all day, every single day of the week, I realized something absolutely crucial. The amount of money you're making right now has nothing to do with your potential to make money. It only reflects the systems and structure you currently have in place. Let me repeat that so you understand. Your current income is not your potential income. It's a simple reflection of your current business systems that you have in place. Okay, so he's saying, what's the alternative, Jay? Let me show you how successful business owners think about money and investment. This is the exact mindset shift that helped one of my barbershop clients go from 4 grand to 20 grand a month, literally in under 90 days. And I've seen it work in multiple businesses across multiple industries. Now you understand why staying small is actually the riskiest move that you can make. Let me show you how successful business owners think about money in general. This completely changed the game for me and my clients. So here's the fundamental difference between struggling business owners and successful ones. Struggling business owners ask, how much does this cost me? Successful business owners ask, how much will this make me? Let me show you exactly what I mean with a real example from one of my clients, Danny. When Danny first came to me, he was working 60 hours a week in his business. He was making about 4 grand a month, which ain't too bad, but he was completely burnt out with no personal time. Just like you might be thinking right now, he said he couldn't afford to invest in his business. But watch what happened when we changed how we thought about money. First, we looked at his numbers differently. Each hour working in the business was about 20 to 25 pounds, and each hour working on the business equaled a potential 100 to 200 pound. So each new team member that he could hire would roughly bring him in about 2,000 pound monthly revenue. And each system that we built for him actually equaled thousands of pounds in recurring revenue. All right, so instead of seeing the cost, we looked at the return. Here's what Danny did. He started to invest in proper hiring systems, created team training SOPs, which is a standard operating procedure. We implemented marketing strategies and automations into the business, built a client retention system. And yes, this required investment, but just look at the return. Within 90 days, Danny was able to hire 3 quality new team members, each bringing in 2 grand a month revenue, reduced his working hours by 50%. So he worked half the amount of time. He used that time to implement smart marketing systems. And the result, in just 90 days, his revenue skyrocketed to 15K a month. Now, most importantly, this wasn't just a one-time increase because he built systems. This became Danny's new baseline. Danny does run a barbershop. However, I have seen the same approach work for consultants, salon owners, fitness studios, and many other service-based businesses that I've worked with in my career. The big factor is each investment multiplies. Let me show you how. Initial investment in systems and coaching equaled £3,000 one time with me and my team. The monthly return, well, Danny was already making 4K a month, but we actually came in and generated an extra £11,000 revenue, minus any additional running costs and marketing, which equated to about £2,000. So the net increase in Danny's revenue was £9,000 a month. So it took literally 90 days to get to this point, but that's literally a 60-day payback period. After that, it's all profit. And remember, this keeps paying him month after month, year after year, for as long as he keeps his business in play. Now, you might be thinking, but Jay, what if it doesn't work that fast for me? What if I can't find good team members? What if I'm not ready to invest? I totally understand that and I get it. And let me address each one of these now. Now that you understand the investment mindset and you've seen the real numbers of scaling a business, let me show you exactly how successful owners find the money to invest in their personal and business growth. These are practical strategies that you can implement starting today, regardless of what type of business that you run. Before I share these strategies, let me be very clear about something. This isn't about taking reckless risks or getting into bad debt. This is about making smart, calculated decisions that set you up for success. Remember, every successful business owner I know, including myself, started exactly where you're at now. The difference was in how we approach finding and using the money to grow. The first place to look is the money you're already leaving on the table. Let me show you 3 quick fixes that can generate immediate capital for your business. Pricing structure review is first on my list. So most service businesses are undercharging by at least 20 to 30%. An example of that is most business owners stuck in the business are at capacity already. So introducing an increase because they're in demand, let's say in standard services from £50 to £65 a haircut, could generate an extra £500 to £1,500 a month extra. So that's already half of the program price there. Now, the benefits of this is it's literally zero extra time. You're already doing the work and there's zero effort required. You're just increasing your prices because you're in demand. The second thing you can do is a service menu optimization. You can start adding high margin services like a VIP package to your service menu so your clients can treat themselves, or add in some kind of premium option for existing services. Again, I'm going to use the barber situation again. We can use a classic haircut and a premium haircut, which could differentiate between a different service and price point. And finally, the third thing that could help you generate more revenue is your booking efficiency. Eliminating schedule gaps and rebooking clients before they leave guarantees you money in the bank for the next and upcoming months. So definitely look at optimizing your service timing and then introducing better cancellation policies, especially in service-based businesses. Next, let's look at how to reallocate existing resources that you have in the business, taking a look at your current monthly expenses. So your marketing spend currently this month, are you tracking your ROI or are you just running ads and just hoping for the best? Your inventory and stock supplies. So what do you have on the shelf? 9 times out of 10, when I work with a client and they don't have money in cash flow, they've actually got money just collecting dust in stock. So you can look at start releasing stock and getting rid of some stock early so that you can then generate some more capital. Are there any current subscriptions and services that you don't need? Actually, one of my clients found this very helpful when we found him £800 a month just by reorganizing these areas. That's a huge £9,600 we found for him to reinvest back into himself and the business over the year at literally no extra cost that was already on the table. And by the way, this works whether you run a barbershop, consultancy, or any other business out there. Now, here's something that most business owners never consider. One of my clients were employing their team members and decided to switch to a self-employed model, freeing up cash flow in the business and profit sharing of 50% of the revenue. This meant there were no more upfront salary costs. The team were motivated more because they could earn more money. They had uncapped gains. We was able to make an extra £2,000 profit in the business and generate more cash flow for them to reinvest into themselves. Now, let's talk about external funding options, good debt versus bad debt. So there are some smart funding sources. You can go to the bank and get a business loan. You can get revenue-based financing, and you can do equipment financing too. And also sometimes we're able to offer a payment plan option, and this could work out for you too. The key is matching the funding timeline to the return timeline. Let me show you exactly how to evaluate this for your business. Here's the framework I use with all of my clients to evaluate the business investment. It's very simple. It's just 3 simple questions. What's the expected monthly return? How long until positive ROI comes into play? And then what's the worst case scenario should this fuck up? Now that you understand the mindset and strategies for finding the money to invest in your business, let me show you how exactly to put this into action. I'm going to give you the same framework I use with my clients who go from struggling to scaling in 90 days. I call this my GROW framework. So the G stands for gap analysis. Where are you right now versus where you want to be? The R is the resource audit. What do you currently have versus what do you currently need? The O stands for opportunity mapping, identifying your highest ROI moves. And then W is obviously a week to week plan, taking clear, actionable steps. So let me break each one of these down with real world examples. So first, you need to get crystal clear on your numbers. Let's do a current state analysis to put this into play. So we need to work out your monthly revenue, what hours you've worked, client capacity, and then your team size. Once we've done that, we'll start looking at your target state. These are your 90-day goals. So we'll start looking at your revenue target. How many additional hours are you looking to cut working in the business so you can start working on it? How many additional team members do you need to employ to make that happen? And then the systems that are required to help you scale and move at the pace we set up for you. Next, we need to do a complete resource inventory. So we'll take a look at your available resources, your current cash flow, how much equipment value you have that we can get rid of that you don't need anymore, team capabilities, is there anything we can delegate, your time availability, and then the local market opportunities. Then we'll take a look at the missing resources and take a look at what systems are needed, any team gaps that we might need to make up, any training requirements to get the team up to scratch, and then obviously take a look at your marketing assets. Now we've done all that, we'll look at how we can identify your fastest path to return on investment. So we call this the property matrix. What quick wins can we get in the next 30 days to bring you your money back as quick as possible? What pricing optimizations can we make immediately? How can we book more people into your business efficiently? What service menu updates can we make? Then we'll move into stage 2, which is your growth moves for the next month. We'll look at team recruitment, system implementation, and then automating some of your marketing strategies inside the business to free up some of your time. And then finally, we'll look at the scale steps. So we'll start looking at team training and delegation, processing any documentation to run some standard operating procedures in the business. And then we'll look at the growth optimization and look at where things are working and where they're not, and then just double down on what's working. Now, for the final and most crucial step, your week to week action plan. This is exactly how we help business owners implement everything we've just covered without getting overwhelmed. Weeks 1 to 4 is all about foundation setting for your brand. Like I said, we'll update the pricing structure, optimizing your booking systems and online presence, launch some ads, and then start implementing client acquisition strategies. Implementation of service options will also happen in this stage. And of course, we'll start tracking all the numbers daily. One of my barbershop clients made an extra £1,400 just from one of these adjustments in week 1. And I've seen similar results across many service industries that I've worked with. Moving on to stage 2, weeks 5 to 8, we'll start with system building. So we'll launch automated marketing systems into the business. We'll start implementing client retention programs, set up referral systems, create upsell protocols for your team, start the recruitment process, implement some team training, and we'll start creating performance incentives to get your team motivated. And then once you've got that in play, we'll set up team management and delegation protocols. This is where you start working on your business, not just inside of it. In the final stage, from weeks 9 to 12, we'll start scaling and optimizing what's working. We'll document the core processes that are making the most sense, create training materials for the new staff to handle new intake, and then implement team performance tracking, fine tune all the systems in place, scale what's working, remove anything that's not, and then we'll plan the next growth phase. The goal here is to prepare for scaling while maintaining quality. By this point, you should be seeing significant revenue increases, and this is where everything comes together. So the 3 crucial success factors here are to follow the sequences we give you, so don't skip any steps that we put into play. Measure everything. What gets measured gets improved, and then keep taking action. Remember that perfect action beats perfect planning. So let me quickly recap what we've covered in today's video. So why staying small actually costs you more money, how successful business owners think about investment, the exact strategies for finding the growth capital, a step-by-step implementation framework. But here's what I want you to really understand. This isn't just about making more money. Every week, I talk to business owners who are missing their kids' activities, canceling family holidays, and grinding themselves into the ground, all because they're trapped in the save money, stay small mindset. The reality is, you didn't become a business owner just to create another job for yourself. You did it to build something meaningful, something that gives you and your family real freedom. Listen, I have been exactly where you are right now. I was making that $2,000 a month, working 60 hours a week in my barbershop, and I thought I couldn't afford to invest in my business. And I thought that all the help I see online is just a scam. I totally get it. But that decision to shift my mindset, to start thinking like a business owner instead of someone who just works for the business, trust me, that changed everything. And now I've helped dozens of other business owners make the same transformation, from barbershops to consultancies to various other businesses out there. If this resonates with you, then I need you to click the link in the description below to book a free strategy call with me. These calls are specifically for business owners who are serious about transformation. I only have a limited number of slots available each and every single week. So if you're ready to stop trading time for money and build a business that works for you and not you working for the business, secure your spot today. But all that shit aside, in the next 90 days from now, you can either be exactly where you are today, or you can start implementing a proven system that creates both time and financial freedom. The choice is yours, but you've already seen the cost of staying small. The question is, are you ready to think bigger? If you need any help or you have any questions about your business and how to scale it, drop me a comment down below. I try to reply to every single comment personally and share additional insights. And if you found value in this video, please make sure to like and subscribe for more practical strategies on scaling your business today. Remember, your current situation is not your potential. It's just your starting point. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let's go.